Hello, my name is Tolg and I exist, therefore I think too much. I'm not reading today because I don't feel like it. I figured I will rant. Generally, I never had enough time to figure out how to understand myself and didn't have the ability to develop who I wanted to be to understand what it could be that I would be. But in all of this, I did, develop in some sort of a way. And I don't know that that way is generally appreciated simply by looking at me. Having said that, I figure I may as well, bare minimum, try to introduce myself again. Maybe. I'm reading these philosophical books because I lost the ability to read. I bought a lot of these books because I wanted to be able to read them once I got the ability to read back. Without trying to sell my story so that someone can adopt it to use it to their benefit without having to suffer the fucking side effects of the abuse. Because that's, a huge disdain of mine, having learned that people do that. I can only say that there was something that happened to my brain chemistry that deprived me of the ability to conceptualize. I could, read the words, but I couldn't understand what they meant. So it took me 2 years to be able to conceive again. And I bought all the philosophy books. I'm agnostic. I was made to be Christian for 5 years of my life. I think 5 years. 5 years. And I hated it. The people that believed they knew me knew the face that I understood would help them feel comfortable with my existence. So it's not their fault that they didn't know who I was or what I was going through. I made it kind of impossible to know that. My mom used to tell me that it was a bad thing to mention other people when you talked about yourself because you're telling their story and you don't have the right to tell their story for them. So I just didn't tell people what was going on. And I was so... The term was be in the world and not of the world. And you pair that simultaneously with the teaching of love the sin, not the sinner. So the understanding is that everybody around you is doing wrong, and in loving them, you don't force your reality on them. And in being in the world and not of the world, you accept that you don't belong. But that's normal. And so nothing I went through was something worth saying. So I didn't tell people. So everybody just understood me to be Christian. I was in a small church, and it was easy to make an example of my wrongdoings. So I felt perpetually in need of doing right and making amends for everything and everyone in existence. I needed to be like Jesus. Now, after going through really bad things, not great things, I cannot deny the experiences that I have had by the God that I used to praise, but I do not think what I used to praise is actual. So I am agnostic. I believe in a monotheistic God. Not a monotheistic religion, though. I believe that there's one God that is the only God worth praising, and that God is what is infinite. Therein, my God is infinity. You ask anybody participating in any religion, and I'm sure that sounds like sacrilege. However, that is the Old Testament. In other experiences that I've had in life, I have had to understand that there are gods that earned their existences. I respect them as energies worth existing, that have accumulated energy over time, that are cultures and religions that have their own experiences and are worthy in their own right. However, I would not praise the arm of a body more than I would praise the whole body. So my God is what is infinite. However, I do give place to other gods in their own existence. Their existence does not detract from what is infinite. That is my belief system. That is what I reside in. Having said everything that I just did, I started doing these videos because of reading philosophy and then arguing the ideology of a lot of the philosophers. Being so secluded inside this house left me to just talk to my partner, who then became incredibly overwhelmed, being the only source by which I would run things by. So he said, why don't you, make videos? Maybe other people might want to hear it. It isn't that I think what I say is the end-all be-all of reality. It's that I am perpetually questioning everything and all of reality. And have limited outlets and try not to stress those outlets. So if there are arguments that you find worth making, please make them. If there are corrections to correct, please correct them. I don't think that the conclusions I get to are the end-all be-all of intelligence. I wouldn't say them if I didn't put thought behind them, so I don't think I'm necessarily wrong when I do say them. However, again, if there's an argument worth making, please fucking feel free to do so. There was a comment someone made. I don't know their name. They're just user and then a bunch of numbers. But they made a lot of comments, and one of them was they would like to go back and look at videos, but they don't want to feel like a stalker. Fuck's sake, man, look at the videos. If I put information out on the internet, anyone is more than free to look at that. I grew up with yellow pages and white pages. Everyone's address was accessible. Now with advanced technology, that is bad information to have, terrible information to have, and everybody feels like a stalker. However, again, if I put the information out there, you are absolutely free to access it. There is question on how much information I actively put out there versus how much information can actually be attained. And that's, the questionable part. I know for a fact there's information about my person out there that I did not put out there. I'm not telling you to feel sketchy about looking at that. It is what it is. And, growing up without privacy, I realized whatever it is I say, whatever it is I do, I have to be able to stand by. Even when I'm wrong, I'll stand by the fact that I did it. I'll feel bad about doing it, but I did it. So if you find information about me, I'm not holding you in a negative, way for finding it. You're fine. If you want to go back and look at the fucking videos I made, feel fucking free. Why the fuck would I put this out there if I didn't want you to watch it? That's weird. Do you? I don't have multiple accounts across things. I wasn't raised with the understanding that the internet existed like it did. I played games online. There was this one website, and I can't remember what it's called, but that was the extent of using the online. And I think I had a MySpace. And then I had an era in my life where I had a flip phone, and that was primarily it. And I snuck off to the library to write in my blog. So now I have I have 2 Instagram accounts. I have a Reddit account. I'm on Nextdoor app, and I have 2 YouTube accounts. And then anything else you can find me on, I've already forgot the password for, and I don't know it exists. But that's the extent of it. That same person mentioned Discord, and I don't know how that works. Sorry. So you want to converse with me, I have Instagram Messenger, and I have this. Run your luck on either. And I'm not always available, and I'm not going to pretend like I am. Either mentally or just physically. I may not always be there to comment back, and that's the rub of existence. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like there is an in-depth relationship with people where there isn't. There's this story that exists, and I guess I may as well say it because I'm saying too much tonight anyways. I once lived with a group of people, and I didn't know if I was going to be around the next day or not. So I would tell people that I loved them, if, like, I knew them well enough and had grown to love them. I would tell them that I loved them. So if I wasn't around the next day, they would know that I loved them. And there was this one person who had joined that group, and decent enough person, nothing against them. During, I think, a house party, so I was pretty drunk, they said they loved me. So I just looked at them and straight up said, I don't know you, and I'm not willing to insult the other people that I tell that I love them by saying I love you, because it's not the same. They spent like 7-8 years afterwards shit-talking me. I don't exactly know what was said, I just know they were shit-talking me because I refused to say that I loved them back. My whole point was that I wanted to respect the emotions I held for others, that I didn't want to diminish what I was saying to them by making them feel that it equated. And if you wanted to be loved to that extent, just, be involved in my life. Having said that, putting myself in a video format makes it feel a hell of a lot more intimate, I think, for people, rather than reading my blog, because you see my face and you hear my voice. But I'm not directly involved in anyone's life, and I can't get to know you on the same wavelength. I'm not invited places. I, don't feel that same amount of safety. I don't know you. And while I appreciate the effort put into my person and the attention and maybe the intentions behind it, I enjoy that you want to get to know me. I don't always have the ability to be perfectly available. And I want that to be stressed, because I don't want your sanity to rely on my lack of sanity. You deserve to feel safe. And if this is your safe place, if you want to leave comments, please fucking leave comments. Have that conversation. You want to be known, hit me up on a messenger, however that works out. I'll do my fucking best, but I am an imperfect being, and I think that needs to be stressed. I I guess the takeaway generally is, even if you get to know me better through this platform, I would really appreciate it if what I could produce would help you get to know yourself more. Perfect world. I think that might help everyone if they took time to learn themselves. And wow, this all started because I rant too fucking much. I think if anything were to be held as an intention of mine, that would be it. I wish it was safer to love. And in wanting it to be safer, I need people to know who they are. So hopefully this helps everybody introspect a little bit more. Okay, bye, good night, eat well, sleep well, drink well, do the things well, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.